With regard to Don Sweeney, the general manager of the Boston Bruins, suggesting that he is working diligently to make sure they get something done with Jeremy Swayman and the prospect of two legit good goaltenders on this Bruins team again this upcoming season. Phil from the Cape has been waiting to say his piece. Hello, Phil.
Good morning, show. How is everybody doing?
What's going on?
So Curtis is a moron, and I can't believe that you guys are indulging in his stupid pills.
Yeah.
If you take away the recency bias, all right, I know they had a horrible ending. I get it. I watched every single game this season. It broke my heart like everybody else. That being said, the one thing that the Bruins did not do in the postseason is what they did all season, which was alternate the goalies.
Right.
We had the least amount of points scored on us. So if you take the best part of the team, which were our goalies, Curtis, moron.
Well, they don't score points in hockey.
Them up. Now,
well, they do. I mean, there are assists.
So if you get rid of the best part and then you just have a mediocre roster, all you're doing is setting yourself up for Curtis to be on some Saturday show with somebody else and then complain about it, complaining about the Bruins. You need both goalies.
You need both goalies.
You need both.
Okay, well, 87% of the respondents to our Twitter poll disagree with you, Phil. So
what was
I guess
the question, Curtis? How was it phrased?
Let me get to
I believe it was, would you be okay with the Bruins trading Vezina goalie winner Linus Ullmark?
Vezina trophy winner.
Yeah.
Linus Ullmark.
Right. That would be 250 votes right now. 83% say that they would not be mad at all. So I guess we're all morons.
Yeah, I think that because of the way they both played this year, I think a lot of people would be – they should have did what I said they should have did at the trade deadline, is move on from one of those guys. But unfortunately, they didn't. But now they're in a position where it's about not rebuilding the team, but retooling it to keep you where you are in the sense of contender.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can feel confident that Jeremy Swayman with the assistance of goaltender Bob, is going to be a really good goaltender. It's interesting. You were asking yesterday, Wiggy, I think, about Linus Ullmark and how he became a Vezina winner, and he basically gave 95% of the credit to goalie Bob in his speech after winning the trophy. So I think goalie Bob was able to turn him into a Vezina winner. He'll be able to do the same thing theoretically with Jeremy Swayman.
Yeah, goalie Bob should be able to take credit, but I think Wiggy hit on it yesterday. We caught lightning in a bottle when it came to Linus and Swayman and how they dealt with each other. Is this who Linus Ullmark is, or is this who Linus Ullmark is when he has Jeremy Swayman as his backup and he's able to take a lot of those games off? And I think that's why, in my mind, I'm fine keeping both of them. Isn't there a way if Patrice and Krejci are gone and we still have the talents of Pasta, Jake DeBrusk, Marchand,
but you need somebody to center those lines.
But that's what I'm saying. Don't we still have enough money to go out there and get those guys without giving up the other goalie? I feel like there's a way that we're able to keep both goalies and do that.
But the problem becomes this, right? If you re-sign Bertuzzi,
how much is that?
He'll probably make about $5.5–6 million.
No, he's making $5 now.
Is he making $5 now?
Yes.
I didn't know he was.
So what, you think it'll be 7–8?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know it was that
Okay.
much.
Yes.
Oh wow, I didn't know he was making $5 now.
They won't pay him that much.
Can I just one last thing on the goalie comments? Don Sweeney, Montgomery, and Cam Neely all also disagree with Phil, because they only played one goalie in the playoffs after playing both during the regular season. So if that's their approach, then the two-goalie system is not one they agree with. So
wasn't that a mistake in our mind?
So I disagree with you, though, Curtis, because every year, like during the regular season, they make sure that they have two legitimate goaltenders on their roster. Like, it's without a doubt, like it's been that way since Tuukka Rask and Tim Thomas. Like, it's been that way for 10+ years. Every single regular season, they want to make sure that they have a legitimate backup goaltender.
What's the total salary they've given to both goaltenders on an average year?
I mean, what was it? Halak was making like close to $3 million, I think, which is what you're going to be paying Swayman now. Like he's a restricted free agent. You don't have to pay him out the wazoo.
But those were also years, I'm guessing, where they didn't have a giant cap issue, which is what they have right now.
But they have a lot.
They have nothing.
So I understand,
and they didn't get any. They got no help from the NHL because the cap went up by like $1 million.
It's not that they have nothing, but they're also going to have a lot of cap flexibility next year. So it's
but didn't they have to unload a bunch of prospects when they made those moves at the past deadline?
They unloaded a bunch of draft picks.
Right. Well, right. Can't they recoup those draft picks if they trade?
Yes.
They get the salary cap space.
If they trade
and they
Linus,
get,
you get the picks.
You get the picks back, and you get the cap space where you can.
But if you're trading Linus, you're probably not trading him to a team that isn't contending. So you're getting back bad first round picks anyway, like late first round picks anyway.
No, but you're not going to trade.
Why would you want to recoup
because you're not
picks?
trading Linus for just first round draft picks.
And where are the Bruins going to be picking anyway?
But you're trading Linus for proven players. Do you want $8 million tied up in 2 goalies where one's sitting on the bench the majority of the playoffs?
Unless what Courtney says is right, which would be an issue for Linus anyway. But if he is as good as he is because he gets rest every once in a while, then that's an issue.
But you're not going to. But
that's what they did with Tuukka Rask. They rested him all the time in the regular season.
Right, but the problem is you're not ever going to get to a situation, and you know, my numbers proved it, where you're going to go into the playoffs and we're going to go both guys back and forth. You're going to pick one guy and you're going to ride him.
But with this specific team, don't we all agree that was a mistake?
Yes.
That they changed it up when we went to the postseason? So if we run it back with both of them, I don't think they make that same mistake next postseason.
We didn't think it was a mistake.
I think it was a mistake.
No, we didn't think it was a mistake going into the playoffs.
I sure as hell said it was.
Yeah.
I think Courtney did as well.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
You were the one propagating the fact that they need to ride with one.
Most people said the only mistake that they made is when they didn't play Swayman in like game 3 or 4.
Okay,
prior to the series.
Yeah,
we
prior
had
to the
said,
series, 2 out of 5 on this show.
But you were
me and Shime.
But you were the only 2 people in all across Boston that was saying that. We had Razor on it, and Razor said he wouldn't go goalie to goalie, game to game. Who does it? We had Mike Milbury in there. Nobody.
I understand,
does that.
but it was a unique scenario.
For the team that won the Stanley Cup.
Good point.
No, they didn't.
Yes,
they didn't. They started with Lyon. He got shelled, and then they brought in. I'm
That's
sorry.
The Panthers.
I'm thinking about
the Panthers.
I'm sorry. Think about. But they went with Hill the majority of the playoffs. That was their goalie.
They still use 2 goaltenders.
But they didn't. You guys wanted to go game to game with the goalie.
I mean, Hill played 2/3 of the games.
Yes.
Like it's not like he played 90% of them.
No.
He played 16 of 22.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2 goalies, and I went back 20 years, that 2 teams that did that. You're not going to have that. You know goalie Bob's good. We already brought up some of the backups that he's had around here. Why not just have one guy? And if you're telling me this kid in Providence is good.
Well, so that's my other thing is I don't know if they believe he's ready. Like that's probably one of the reasons they want to hold on to both goalies, because they feel like this year they hold on to both goalies, they make a couple of moves, the team's pretty good, you get back into the playoffs, maybe not a Stanley Cup team, but you're in the playoffs, and then the following year is when you make a lot of big splashes and you make an absolute run because you have more cap
what's your biggest
You
hole?
have to shine, but when it comes to Bruins fans, I speak for them. They're pissed. You have to make a significant run. You can't be one and done.
But like if you watch
cannot
Bergeron
be
and
one
Krejci walk away, you cannot expect this team to all of a sudden just make a run at the Stanley Cup. Like it's not exactly how that's going to work.
What's your biggest
like this
hole?
was your year and you missed.
But
you
Shime,
took a swing and missed.
Shime, you're not
so now you
answering
have
the
to
question.
reset a little bit. And if the reset's only 1 year, it's
you
a hell of a
can't
lot
do
better
that.
than the
You're not
Patriots.
resetting. What's your
What do you
biggest
mean you
hole?
can't
What's
do
your
that?
biggest hole right now,
Are you
Greg?
saying that without Bergeron, it's an automatic reset?
Right.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a quick reset. You have a lot of talent on
Stop
this
it.
team, but you're as you said, you're up against the cap. You loosen things up a little bit this year. You just start putting some pieces in place so that in 2025 you can make a legitimate
I
run
am
at the cup.
so sick of the teams being contending for years down the line. They're charging the highest ticket prices in the sport.
They're
You
not
have
the
to take
Patriots.
out-
They're not going into
you
a
have to-
4-year rebuild
you have
that
to
goes
take out-
nowhere.
You have to take out a second mortgage just to go to a game, for Christ's sake. And we're talking about 2025. They had the best team in the NHL's history.
Yes, I understand that, and they took a swing and they missed. I 100% agree with
Okay,
you.
so then don't
but
go up to
because you
bat?
take that swing, you then have to face the penalties of that swing. And what happened is they traded away a lot of draft picks to try and make a run this year.
Right.
It didn't work out,
So
so
trade
now they
the
have to
goalie.
reset.
Right,
No,
trade
you
the
have to hit the
reset.
reset
No,
button.
it's basically a run it back.
Right.
No,
and that's
just
not,
add a couple
like, do you
pieces.
think
Yes,
are-
because
are
they need to
Cam-
flex. They need to free up cap space.
Do you think Cam Neely and Don Sweeney, everyday listener of this program? Thank you, Donnie. Hello.
Hey, Donnie,
Are
you've
they-
got a lot of company listening to the show, by the way. Holy cannoli, talk about a reset. The ratings are popping.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened?
We just got a great weekly over at
the latest
11.5.
the latest weekly ratings.
Yeah, and then we got a Tuesday, June 6th. I don't know what happened. Maybe Courtney said she was going to do something wild, but we did an 18.1.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Pretty good day. Pretty good week.
So that was what were we, number 2?
Number 2 for the weekly. Yep.
Yeah, it's not number 1.
Not number 1, but yeah. I mean
you
almost
don't
a 12 in the
Curtis,
weekly. Not bad.
in this country, we don't celebrate anything other than number 1.
Well, according to Phil in the Cape, I'm a number 2, so I'm very comfortable.
Wow. Jeez.
Not bad. Huh?
I mean,
Might want to not be.
some
Not going to read that elsewhere, I guess. Unfortunately.
What will that be in the Globe?
Oh no.
Will Chad Finn be writing about that?
Selective release.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
You're not running it back, man. Would we start Shine? Listen, no more Gator Nuggets for Shine because they're screwing up his head.
What are you talking
how do you
about?
How do you go from a team that sets the NHL record in wins to we need a reset? No, it's
Because
simple.
you're now up against the cap. Your
You're
number
not-
1 center's
but
walking
how do
away.
you-
Your number 2
but-
center's
but
walking away. That's how.
How do you get when you're up against the cap? How do you get away from being up against the cap? You move on from certain players.
They're a year away from freeing up cap space, Wiggy.
Shime, answer this question. What's the biggest hole in this team?
First line center.
Center, right? So you have 2 really good goalies. You could find another backup, trade one, free up some cap space, and then you're able to maybe allocate some of that money towards a first line or a second line centerman if you feel like Zaka's going to be your first.
But the issue is it's not enough money to get a legitimate first line centerman. Wiggy, you need like between probably close to $9 million.
Okay,
right?
so if you free up,
you have 11 now.
Yep.
Because of the move.
And if you want to sign Bertuzzi, there goes at least 6, if not more.
Yeah.
Okay, so then if you free up money from moving on from Linus,
that's 5.
But then you maybe have to free up a few. How many defensemen do they
They're
got?
getting rid of Grzelcyk. That'll be a couple million.
I hope they are.
So if that's 5, then you get a couple million. That's 7, and then you figure out a few pieces here and there. Before you know it, you're at 8 or 9 million, and now you can re-sign Bertuzzi and you can sign that centerman for 8 or 9 million.
Right.
That's simple.
Well.
This kid's getting gold.
Greg, is your favorite
Gator
form of,
Nuggets?
Greg, is your favorite form of sports talk when teams learn how to cost cut?
I am frugal, Curtis. Very frugal.
Curtis, you see how I just did that? All
Wiggy,
the money.
You just dominated him. Everybody gives us a hard time.
What are you
and I
talking
are the hockey
about?
guys.
Yeah,
Like, even if the Bruins won the cup this year, they'd still be in the same cap issue that they're currently in.
Right.
Like,
you navigate it by unloading an expensive goalie, which
no,
you are
because they
able
still
to
want to
replace easily.
they still want to compete, and the best way for them, in their opinion, to do that this year is to have 2 legitimate goaltenders
Right.
still.
Give
Okay,
goalie
but-
Bob Meade, we'd be winning games.
What do you think if Bergeron comes back? What do you think he expects to get paid?
He's not coming back.
yeah.
That's the point.
5
That's why
million?
you have to. That's why you have to finagle a few things and prepare for 2025. You took your
Cam
swing
Neely
this year.
did- you
You
just-
missed. It happens. Now you have to get ready for 2025.
Did you hear Cam Neely earlier on this show say that they don't know whether he's coming back?
But
or
that
not?
Yeah,
they're
that's
going
baloney.
forward in acting like he is not.